Okay, today I'm going to teach you guys how to get your clay ready and prepared to work with it. This is a very important step, and it's a step you have to do every time when you are using clay. So, this, oftentimes when you get into the clay bag, you're going to see pieces of clay that are all cut up and just kind of laid in there. Some of it might be a little bit harder, some of it might be a little bit softer. So we want that clay to all be compressed and to be all the same consistency. So that's where wedging comes into play. So the first thing you're gonna do is grab your clay, okay? Typically you would use like a board or the plaster slabs to wedge on top of for this demonstration purpose. I am going to use a table so I'm not like wobbling all over the place, okay? So first thing I'm going to do is just kind of like hit it, and I can use, so I'm just kind of getting all that clay stuck together. That does not mean that this is compressed and wedged completely. So if I were to pull this apart, you would see spaces in between and little maybe air pockets. That can cause problems, okay? So when we wedge, it is an art form, okay? So you're not gonna get it your first time. This took me many years to really, really do good at. So the way that you're gonna hold your hands is kind of like this, and you're gonna wrap your hands around the clay. You're going to push forward and down and then pull the clay back. So you're pushing forward and down and pulling the clay back. Okay, if your body isn't in this like rhythmic wave motion, you're probably not doing it right. Okay, your clay, you don't want it to be spreading out wide, you want it to stay tucked in. So as I'm pushing forward, I'm also with my hands giving pressure inwards, okay? And you keep doing this, and you want to do it a fair amount depending on how dry or wet your clay is or how uneven it is, the more you have to do it, okay? When you are doing this process, if you pick your clay up at any time, you will notice that there is kind of like a spiral that is creating. That clay is wrapping around there every time, just bit by bit. A lot of times what happens with students is they flatten it out, okay? Or beginners, I should say. So you'll be pushing and you're flattening out, and then when you go to fold, then you create a very large air pocket. It's more important to keep this clay closed in as possible. You want it to be really tight. You don't want to have any thin edges coming out. So that's kind of how you wedge. Once I finish wedging, I do use my clay board to hit it on the table again. So it'll kind of have that spiral, and then I just like roll that little tail that was sticking out up into it. And then I'm gonna take my board, just kind of hit it on all sides. The more you do this, obviously, the more compact it's gonna be, the stronger it's gonna be, and the less opportunity for an explosion to happen into the kiln. All right, let's see, give it a try.